Hello class, in this video we're going to be looking at highest common factor and lowest common multiple. Before we actually look into this, we're going to quickly do a review of what factors and multiples are from the previous lesson. Now looking at the first thing, which is factors, we said that a number that's considered to be a factor can be divided exactly into another number without any remainders. So how do we find factors of any numbers? Well, what we do is we need to actually write down the list of all the factor pairs, okay? So two factors, when they're multiplied to each other, gives you that actual number that you want, and then listing all those factors from smallest to largest. So if that looks confusing to you, then look at this example over here. So for instance, if the question asks us to find the factors of 32 or list all the factors of 32, what we need to do is find the two numbers when multiplied together gives you 32 as an answer. We always start off with the number 1 because 1 is always a factor of all numbers. So 1 times a certain number gives you 32. In this case, it would be 1 times 32. We then look at the next one. Notice that 32 is an even number. In the previous video, we said that all even numbers will have 2 as a factor. So therefore, it will be 2 is a factor. 2 times a certain number will give you 32. In this case, it would be 16. So 16 is also a factor of 32. We said that there was another trick that we said that 3 is a factor if when we add these two numbers together, that number is divisible by 3. In this case, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 5 cannot be divided by 3. The next factor we have is 4, because 4 times 8 is equal to 32, and this is pretty much all the factors of 32 in this case. What we do after we've actually identified all the factor pairs is that we actually write down all of these numbers over here from smallest to largest. So I've done this already. So 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. So these are all the factors of 32. So now we're going to be looking at another example, a more simpler example. This question or this example says find the factors of 12. So again, we're going to be doing the exact same thing. Start from the smallest one. So 1 times 12 is going to therefore be a factor. So 1 and 12 are factors. Another number, since 12 is an even number, therefore 2 is also going to be a factor. 2 times 6 in this case will give you 12, so 6 is also a factor. 3 is also a factor, so 3 and 4. So these are the only factors of 12. Therefore, once you've identified all the factor pairs, you just need to write down all the factors from smallest to largest. This is more so of a writing convention, so that's kind of what you're supposed to do. In the same way, you're supposed to start off with all sentences with a capital letter, while when we're finding out factors, we generally just write all the factors from smallest to largest. And again, if you want extra practice, please find the factors of 42. And if you do this and pause the video right now, your answer should be 1 and 42, 2 and 21, 3 and 13, and 6 and 7. Therefore, when you write this from smallest to largest, this is your answer. Now, we also looked at multiples, and we said that a multiple is a number which is resultant from multiplying a number by a whole number. So for instance, how do we find the first 4 multiples of 3? So in this case over here, since we're trying to find out the first 4 multiples of 3, all we essentially do is multiply this number here, 3, by the first 4 numbers. In this case, that would be 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you multiply it by those 4 integers, 3 times 1 is equal to 3, 3 times 2 is equal to 6, 3 times 3 is equal to 9, and 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Notice that, remember how we said that there is an infinite amount of multiples, because we can just keep multiplying 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth. So there's an extraordinary amount, so that's why I've included the ... But really, to answer these questions, you only need to have these 4 over here. I've got another example over here. So it says find the first 4 multiples of 6. So again, you just go 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, and 6 times 4. If you do that, this is your answer. Oh, sorry. This should be your answer. And again, if you want extra revision, please answer this question over here. If you pause the video right now and attempt it, your answers should be 12, 24, 36, and 48. For the next 15 minutes, what I'd like you to do is, just so you have a better understanding of what multiples are before we proceed on to the next new topic, I'd like you to please answer these questions over here directly inside your exercise book. So please answer these questions over here. So please pause the video right now so you can answer them, and make sure you're actually timing yourself so you don't go spend too long answering these questions. If you can't finish these questions right now, then you are going to be completing them later as for homework. Now, once you've actually completed these questions, these are the answers you should get. So I'm just going to be quickly uploading the answers right now. And if you have any questions as to how I've arrived to that particular answer, then you please make sure you ask me, or either ask me in the WebEx chat or email me directly. Alright, the learning intention of this particular video is we're going to be exploring the meaning of the terms highest common factor and lowest common multiple. We're going to be able to find the highest common factor of two numbers. And lastly, we're going to be able to find the lowest common multiple of two numbers as well. So first, let's just unpack what this word over here means, highest common factor. Well, the word highest essentially means the largest or the biggest value. So that's what highest means in the mathematical sense. The word common means either it's very familiar or repeated. So when you've got when something is in common, it's because they're both familiar or that both things actually have it. So that's kind of familiar or repeated in this case. And the word factor, we said it was a number that can be divided exactly into a given number without any remainders at all. So if you put all this together, the word highest common factor means it's the highest number that is a factor of both numbers. And the way that we actually determine what the highest common factor is by creating a list of factors for each number and then finding the largest factor that's common or repeated in both lists. So for instance, if the question says, find the highest common factor of 36 and 45, what I've done is I've actually divided this into this little table over here. And what I'm going to do in each side of the table is I'm going to write down all the factors of 36 and then find all the factors of 45. So if I do this, one of the factors is 1, another one's 36, 2, 18, 3, 12, 4, 9, and 6, 6. Okay, so these are all the factors of 36. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side over here. So if I do this, these are all the factors of 45. And if I'm trying to find the highest common factor, what that means is I'm trying to find out a number that is present in both lists, which is the highest value in this case. In this example over here, this would be 9. So therefore, 9 is considered to be the highest common factor of 36 and 45. So this is how you would actually answer this particular question. Let's look at another example so you can have a better understanding of what this term means. So example 1 over here, the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The factors of 16, on the other hand, are 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. The first question asks us, what are the common factors of 12 and 16? So remember, what numbers, question is actually asking, what numbers are kind of repeated in both of these lists over here. In this case over here, we can notice that 2 over here is repeated. We could also see 4 is repeated, and that's about it. So just, as well as 1, sorry, can't forget 1. So therefore, to answer this question over here, our answers would be the common factors of 12 and 16 would be 1, 2, and 4. Question 2, on the other hand, says, what is the highest common factor? For question 1, we've just identified what the common factors are. Now, question 2 is saying, out of all those common factors you've identified in question 1, what is the highest value? In this case over here, the highest common factor would be 4. So therefore, that's how you'll be answering this question over here. Example 2. Wants you to state the missing numbers to find out the highest common factor of 18 and 30. So you've got some missing blanks over here and we're required to actually fill them out. So the first part, factors of 18 are 1, something, 3, something, something, and 18. The way that I'd approach this question is that, remember, since the factors are always written from smallest all the way to largest, notice that this list over here can also be written in a way that can also be written as factor pairs. So notice over here, the outside numbers over here, the outermost numbers are factor pairs. So 1 and 18, 1 times 18 gives you 18, which is this answer over here. So if I was trying to find out what this value is, it would therefore be whatever this number over here multiplied by this number gives you 18. Now, notice that 18 over here is an even number, so we can automatically assume that the next number over here is going to be 2, okay? So therefore, 2 times a certain number gives you 18. In this case over here, that'd be 9. This one over here is 3. 3 times a number will give you 18. In this case, that number would be 6. So that's how I would actually approach these types of questions. If I have one of the values, I'll find out what the other value is by finding out the other factor pair. Because this question says state the missing numbers to find the highest common factors of 18 and 30, therefore this would be 30 over here. And again, I'm going to be applying my same trick. So 1 times 30 gives you 30. Yes, that's true. Now, this number times this number will give you 30. Now, 30 is an even number, so therefore this number is going to be 2. 2 times something gives you 30. In this case, that would be 15. Now, this number over here multiplied by 10 gives you 30. So 10 times something gives you 30. That would be 3 in this case over here. And 5 times a certain number will give you 30. In this case, that would be 6. So therefore, if I'm trying to answer this question, what is the highest common factor of 18 and 30? Well, if we look at our list over here, the factors that are present in 18 and 30 are 2, 1, 3, 6, and that's all. So therefore, out of all those factors, 6 is the highest. So therefore, this is going to be an answer over here. 6 is going to be our answer. Alright, so what I'd like you to do right now is I'd like you to please pause the video right now so you can answer the following question inside your exercise book. Spend about 2 minutes or so answer this question, and after 2 minutes, then please play the video so you can compare whether your answers is the same as mine. So the question reads, find the highest common factor of 36 and 48. So in order to answer this question over here, again, what I'll do is I'm going to list down all the factors of 36 and then list down all the factors of 48. So 1 times 36 is 36. 2 times 8 is also 36. 3 times 12 is also 36. 4 times 9 is equal to 36. 6 times 6 is also equal to 36. Once I've done that, what I'm going to be doing is find all the factors of 48. So 1 and 48, 2, 24, 3, 14, and 4 times 12, and 6 times 8. So these are all the factors of 48. What I'll do next is I'm just going to list down all the factors from smallest to largest. So if I do this, this is what it would look like. Now notice over here that you've got 6 times 6 over here. I've only included 6 once in the list because you only need to include one number of its kind. Okay, you only want to have a unique number. So if there's a recurring number, then you just only need to write it once. Now once I've actually listed down all the factors of each numbers over here, what I'm going to be looking at is for the highest common factor. So what number is present in both of them that's the highest? In this case over here, that'd be 12. So therefore my answer to this question would be the highest common factor of 36 and 48 is going to be equal to 12. What I'd like you to do for the next 20 minutes is I'd like you to answer questions 1, 2, 3, and 8 from exercise 3B. So exercise 3B can be found in your textbooks at page 120. So please make sure you answer these questions over here and then compare your answers with mine. So please pause the video so you can actually complete the questions. Alright, after you've completed the questions, these are the solutions that you should have obtained. So please make sure you grab a red pen out and double check whether your answers are correct or not so you can see whether you're on the right track. What we're going to be looking at now is the lowest common multiple. So before we look at what lowest common multiple again, what I want to do is I just want to review what the word multiple is, because that's contained in the word lowest common multiple. We said that a multiple of a particular number is a number created by multiplying that given number by a whole number. So for instance, if you're trying to find multiples of 6, what you do is you just multiply 6 with 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, 6, etc, etc, etc. If you do this, this would be the multiples of 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, and so forth. It will have an infinite amount of multiples. So the word lowest common multiple means it's the smallest number which is a multiple of 2 or more numbers. So what does that actually mean? Well, for instance, if this was a question over here, find the lowest common multiple. So LCM is just an abbreviation of it, of 20 and 12. What I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to list down as many multiples for each number as I can. So what I'm going to do is list down 5 multiples. So 20 times 1, 20 times 2, 20 times 3, 20 times 4, 20 times 5. I do this for for the first one. So therefore this will be 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, and so forth. It can keep going, but I'm just going to stop it up to here for now, just for the purpose of this example. And then I'll do the exact same thing for 12 as well. So I'll find out the first 5 multiples of 12. So 12 times 1, 12 times 2, 12 times 3, 12 times 4, 12 times 5. This is what you should get. Now, when you're trying to find the lowest common multiple, you're trying to find out the lowest number that's present in both of these data sets. In this case over here, you would agree with me that 60 is going to be the lowest common multiple present in both of these numbers over here. So therefore the answer is the lowest common, I wrote that as LCF, which is incorrect. It should be LCM. The lowest common multiple of 20 and 12 is therefore equal to 60. Let's look at another example over here. The first 10 multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72, and 80. And the first 10 multiples of 6 are blah, 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 blah. The question wants you to find what are the 2 common multiples of 8 and 6. So in this case here, you need to refer back to these 2 lists over here. So you're trying to find out numbers that are the same in both of these data sets. In this case over here, your answer is going to be 24 and 48 because you can see 24 is over here, 48 is over here, and 24 and 48 is over here. So these are the 2 multiples that are present in both 8 and 6. Now, question 2 says, what is the lowest common multiple of 8 and 6? So from out of these 2 numbers that you've identified, which are multiples, which one's the smallest one? Therefore, your answer is going to be 24 in this case. So this is a pretty simple question. Example 2 wants you to state the missing numbers to find out the lowest common multiple of 9 and 15. So all you need to do is you just need to list down all the multiples. So 9 times 1, 9 times 2, 9 times 3, 9 times 4. You get the idea. So that's all we're doing. So in this case over here, that's 9 times 1. This is 9 times 2. So therefore, the missing number over here, 9 times 3 is equal to 27. This is 9 times 4. So therefore, to find out this is 9 times 5. That's 45. And then this is 54, 63, 72, and 90. You get the idea. Multiples of 15 are, the first one should therefore be 15, because that's 15 times 1, 30, 45, 60, 75, 90, 105, and then 120. Therefore, the lowest common multiple of 9 and 15 is, so we're trying to look at multiples that are the same first. So in this case over here, you would notice that 45 is a number that's present in both of them, and that's as well as 90. We're trying to look for the lowest one, so therefore our answer is just going to be 45 in this case over here. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to please pause the video right now so you can answer this question. Give yourself 2 minutes or so to get the answer, and afterwards check your answers with my answer. The question reads, find the lowest common multiple of 5 and 11. So what you should be doing first is list down all the multiples of 5. You don't have to, but the more multiples you can come up with, the more better it is, and the more likely you're going to get the answer. So therefore, I'm just going to do all the 5 times tables, and then I'm going to do all the 11 times tables over here. After I've done this for both of these numbers over here, I'm going to be looking for the lowest common multiple. So the lowest number that's present in both of these 2 data sets. In this case over here, that'd be 55. 55 is the only number that's common in both of them, and therefore and this will also be the lowest common multiple. Therefore, when you're writing your answer, it's very essential that you include this word statement. The lowest common multiple of 5 and 11 is equal to 55. Got another question for you that I'd like you to answer inside your exercise book. So please pause the video right now so you can answer this question by yourself. The question reads, find the lowest common multiple of 6 and 10. So I'm going to be applying the same strategy. So what I'm doing first is list down all the multiples of 6. So list down all your 6 times tables in order. And then I'll do the same thing for the 10. So I'll list down all my times tables for 10. What I'll do after I've actually got all the times tables for each of these numbers, I'm going to be looking at these 2 data sets to find what number is present in both of these data sets and is the smallest value. In this case over here, you'd agree with me that 30 in this case is the lowest common multiple present. So therefore, when you're writing your answer, make sure you're writing in full sentences. So therefore, the way you'd answer is the lowest common multiple, or the LCM of 6 and 10 is equal to 30. What I'd like you to do right now, after you've answered those questions, I'd like you to please finish off the remaining questions in the checklist. So answer questions 4, 5, and 7. Make sure you answer all of the questions over here. It shouldn't take you too long at all. So please give yourself around 20 minutes to answer these questions over here. And then once you do that, then please check at the back of the book to see whether your solutions are correct. So after you've answered those questions, these are the solutions that you should have obtained. So again, make sure you grab a red pen and check whether your solutions are correct to see whether you're on the right track. Now, something I want to talk about before we end this video is that at the end of every week, what I'd expect you to do is I'd expect you to actually upload the questions that you've actually done for those particular exercises. So for instance, in for this week over here, you have done exercises 3A as well as exercise 3B. When you click onto both of these links over here under the pencil, where after you've chosen a class, it should come up with a page, something similar to this. It will tell you what the description, the task description is. So it'll tell you what questions you're supposed to answer. And down below that window, you should see a little icon where it says submission file upload. By clicking onto this icon over here, you should be able to attach the images that you've taken of your workbook, or if you've scanned it, please make sure you upload that. And by doing that, I can actually check to see whether you're actually doing the required work or not. So this is an expectation. This will also go in your reports. Your parents and your families will be notified by email as well as SMS as soon as it's past the due date and you haven't actually submitted anything. So make sure you're always doing this at the end of each week so I can see what you're up to and see whether I need to review over certain aspects that most students are actually struggling. So that's pretty much what you need to do. In addition to that, I do want to remind you all that I've also previously made some Google Forms. Not many people have actually done it. So since we've covered highest common factors, factors and multiples, make sure you review these again so that you're going to do really well in your upcoming assessment task. I can't say for sure when your assessment task is going to be, but I'd assume it'll be in the next, it would be either next week, late next week, or the following week after that. This is pretty much the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. Please leave a thumbs up if this video helps you. See you in the next video.